Well, it turns out if you went in the hospital for COVID, it was a lot better for your survival if you weren't vaccinated. In fact, the biggest study ever done worldwide says you have twice as likely a chance to die if you're vaccinated versus unvaccinated. This is a medical journal written by doctors for doctors. We're going to tell you about it. There's a new study out that says if you got COVID and you had to be hospitalized, you have a much higher risk of dying in the hospital if you were vaccinated versus unvaccinated. This is an enormous study. Listen to this. The mortality rate, according to Frontiers in Immunology, the biggest publication, medical publication dealing with immune responses for doctors, written by doctors for doctors. Their new study just out last month says the mortality rate for hospitalized COVID people was 70% if you had the vax and 37% if you didn't have the vax. It's not like a little bit. The mortality rate is double. You're twice as likely to die. Is that incredible? In other words, the vaccine, apparently, so we don't get banned, quoting the study in the Journal of Immunology, causes you to die at double the rate. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I'm just reading from an article.
Yeah, but you're relaying the information and it doesn't fit the narrative. I think that's the problem. You might have to just, take out some of the words. Just, we're saying people are smart enough to understand. But you know what, Barry? There was just a report just the other day. They're talking about the vaccine is just going to be pushed once a year, kind of like the COVID now. And people, they've already said this. I'm not saying this. I'm just relaying the information that they put out there, that the COVID vaccine is going to be mixed with the flu shot. So when you're going to get a flu shot, you're going to be getting the COVID mRNA shot as well. So they're going to combine them together so you can get one. So you think you're getting one. And they say this is going to be so wonderful, Barry, because they'll be able to modify it as they go along. Because, the flu constantly changes.
Which means every 6 months at CVS, there's going to be a new sign. Did you get your COVID plus the new flu shot? You can get it here for free. We'll charge the government $150 or whatever. And every time I pick up a prescription, they ask me, would you like a COVID shot? No.
Really?
Every time. Yes. Every time. They've got signs everywhere. They must be getting paid a lot of money to push it. Go to a drugstore.
I think so.
Go to a drugstore.
I think so. Well, I mean, I'm in Texas, so a lot of people here in Texas who work at the pharmaceutical companies, I think they're on the up and up when it comes to that. Because even my doctor, when I go see my doctor, he says, this is how he said it when they were really pushing it heavy. He says, are there any vaccines that you would like to get? And I said, you know what, Doc? There aren't any. And he said, all right, then.
You mean he didn't sell you on it? He didn't push it on you?
No, he asked me, he said, is there any vaccines that you think you might want to get?
Well, thank you.
And I'm like, you know what? Nah, actually, no, there aren't any. He said, well, okay, have a good day.
Well, you know what, Will Johnson, you have a good doctor. I like
I know. I was like, I think he's a keeper.
Yep, I agree.